Thursday Night Football streams exclusively on Prime Video Thursday night throughout the season. Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins coming up next Thursday. Pregame, or this Thursday, coverage starts at 7 Eastern, where you can see Andrew Whitworth, 16 seasons as an offensive tackle in the NFL, Super Bowl champ with the Rams, 4-time Pro Bowler, joins us on the program. How you feeling?
I'm doing good, Dan. It's good. Football's back, baby. Let's go.
Okay, explain your former team hosting the Patriots yesterday and losing at home.
You wanted to start there, huh? Just dig in the knife a little bit. I was heartbroken yesterday. I was so excited. I thought Joe Burrow's had all camp long. Now we're going to finally get to see this Cincinnati team come out the gates because it's something they've really struggled with. They've started the season really slow the last few years. He's been out a lot in training camp with different things, and man, they look like a team, honestly, that has been struggling to get contracts done with their wide receivers because that's what the offense looked like. They looked a little lost. Execution was bad ball security. Just unfortunately, probably not really the way they wanted to start it. And I think different this year because a lot of these guys have missed time now. T. Higgins is injured. Jamar Chase has missed all of camp. They've got to get going, and they got to get going fast.
I'm watching Matthew Stafford last night in the fourth quarter, your former quarterback, and it's strange. He's had like this rebirth. Younger quarterbacks are talking about just how great he was, and that C.J. Stroud wants to be like him, Caleb Williams wants to be like him. What was Stafford like though in the huddle compared to other quarterbacks? Like, is there anything that stands out? And have we taken him for granted maybe during his career?
I think that's really the last thing you said there is really top of mind to me. I think we've taken for granted how special this guy is, how, really the impact he has as a quarterback. Man, he's one of the rarest. And I think that you talk about being in a huddle. I've always said, Dan, to me, he was like, he's like John Wayne. He's the bad cowboy dude who you're just like, never says a word. I don't care if you get him hit. I don't care if 3 people hit him. Doesn't matter what happens. You look at him last night. They are hitting him every single snap. Somehow he's able to get to Cooper Kupp. Somehow he's able to find a receiver down the field. Every play I'm going, man, what a great completion. Is Matthew still alive? Let's pan the camera back over here. But he never says a word. You never hear him say a thing. But all he does is walk in the huddle and say, hey, boys, let's go get one right here. He's just stone cold that way. And I think it's really one of those things that you see it in his team. They admire his toughness. They admire the attitude he has of there's nothing that he can't accomplish or do on a football field because he's going to outwork everybody. He's going to be the toughest son of a gun in the huddle. I think he just gives you a lot of inspiration to play for him by the way he carries himself. And I agree with you on the rebirth. Hey, there's something about moving to L.A. from the Midwest. I know it well. That just gives you a lot of energy. And you know what? You decide, hey, maybe I can go a little longer than I thought. And I think you see that in Matthew Stafford, that relationship with Sean McVay and what's happening for him in L.A.
How often would you get yelled at in the huddle with other quarterbacks?
Well, you don't get yelled at much, but you may hear, like, hey, guys, what happened on that protection? Or man, you may hear a little complaint here or there about the protection and time, needing time. With Stafford, it was always just, I'll find a way. And he'll never say a word to you about it. He would just say, you know what, hey, you'd be like, hey, man, you're all right. Sorry about that. No, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. Let's move to the next one. No emotion about those kind of things. And so I think that his fire and his attitude is something you fed off of, that he would never complain about a single situation. And even not necessarily in the huddle, but around the building or two in a room, you wouldn't hear him ever talk about those kind of things. It was always demanding more of himself. And I think that in turn makes you want to play better.
Would you rather block for someone like Matthew Stafford or someone like Josh Allen?
Listen, I think that really goes down. I have this talk all the time. Even Patrick Mahomes, right? He does a great job of avoiding sacks and those kind of things. But they also move around a lot in the pocket or hold it at times to where, if you're talking about you as an individual, like, hey, if you're a left tackle, you have a lot of pride in protecting the quarterback. You're going to occasionally have pressures or hits on the quarterback that really don't have a lot to do with you. You might have done your job, but then they go to extend the play, and there's just only so long you can hold a block. And so it starts to become a thing of, hey, is this about us winning, or is this about me having the best pass blocking efficiency rate possible, right? So I think whenever those guys do all that, Dan, and you win, I think it's, hey, that's great. But when they're doing that and you might not be winning and it may not be leading to success, I can see where that starts to become an issue probably for some tackles out there that hold themselves in that esteem that they say, hey, I want to be the best and I want us to have the most efficient offense possible. I think maybe you might get a little upset about them running around, but hey, when those lead to W's and they lead to touchdowns, I think that's the only thing everybody cares about.
Point of emphasis with tackles back a little bit, trying to get back, further, protecting the quarterback here. Is this good? I mean, should we be focusing on tackles who aren't lined up maybe where they should be?
I mean, it seems like something that's just not that big a focus for me. But listen. Even playing tackle, I think it's a silly thing because it's one of those things that you look at it. Really, it's about their feet being in alignment. We kind of developed this belt thing, and it had a lot more to do with guys in 3-point stances. And so when you were down in a stance, you couldn't back up to get an advantage to be able to reach defensive ends, to be able to reach D linemen because you were backed off the line of scrimmage. Standing in a pass blocking stance, as long as your feet are even with the centers or somewhere in line, you're getting zero advantage. So for us to worry about their helmet alignment, like you look at some of the snaps with Ronnie Stanley, like his feet are in direct line with everybody else. We're just talking about where his helmet is based off of how he stands in a stance. For me, I hate points of emphasis. I think that's a silly thing to talk about. Like, I'm a big believer in if rules are rules, then enforce rules. And if they're all of a sudden now we have rules and now one rule is more emphasized than another rule, I think that's a silly thing. Like, let's just have a rules and establishments of this is the way we want to conduct business. This is how penalties are going to be called for every penalty. And there's no such thing as emphasizing a rule. I just think that gets to be silly because now you're looking for it and you're trying to call it. And that's not really the essence of why there's penalties and rules. Therefore, you know what? If there's an infraction, then call it.
Aside from the obvious pick for Super Bowl, the Rams versus the Bengals, do you have another Super Bowl pick?
Well, I don't know if I have another Super Bowl pick as much as based off of tonight. I think you'll tell us, really we get a chance to watch the Niners-Jets. There's nothing from week one right now that doesn't tell me that this might not possibly be a rematch of the last Super Bowl we had. And I still think the 49ers are going to be one of the best teams in the NFC. And the Chiefs, as of right now, after week one, watching that week, there's nothing that tells me that a three-peat is not possible. I mean, obviously you expect there's going to be adversity they're going to have to face at some point. But right now, after week one, I think the Kansas City Chiefs are representing the AFC, and I still feel strong this may be a rematch from last year's Super Bowl.
Okay. Let's play the Andrew Whitworth max bench press. 1 rep ever. Okay. Todd, I'll start with you. What do you think Andrew's max bench press? 1 rep.
430 pounds.
430. Seton.
I'm going 475.
475. All right. Marvin.
450.
Paulie.
465.
I'm going to go 475. 1 rep.
Close. I was actually at 495. That was college. You don't lift that heavy in the NFL anymore because you can't get hurt. But in college, I think I hit 495 per one.
Wait, you got to put 5 more.
Really close.
You got to put 5 more pounds on. You got to do 500.
I got hey, listen, this long reach right here, Dano, these 37-inch arms, not really the best bench presser, but, that's what I got to, 495. I'm pretty sure that was the strength coach was like, that's it. We're not trying anymore. So I barely got it there, and it might have taken about a minute and a half for the bar to move all the way up, but I got it there. That's all that matters.
Okay, the most you've ever seen was lifted by who? How much?
Oh man, in college there was we had some great lifters, but I would probably say honestly one of the strongest guys I've ever seen as far as when you talk about size weight ratio, Aaron Donald. I mean, literally, I know he's great at everything, but I know it shocks everybody to think that he's really powerful as well in the weight room. But dude was crazy strong. I mean, what he could move on a bench press bar at his weight is pretty insane. That's for sure.
500.
Oh, easily. I mean, I think he worked out with 405 or 425 for reps of 5 and 6 and 7. I mean, that guy was crazy powerful. So, yeah, he could definitely hit 500. There's no doubt.
You don't see him coming back?
I don't. He looks pretty comfortable. I think, knowing AD, listen, he's living in L.A., the career he had. Listen, we're more likely probably to see him on a movie in a documentary, a show. You know what? AD's the man. He's accomplished it all. He's having fun raising his kids and enjoying life with his wife, Erica.
Good to talk to you. We'll talk to you during the season. Have fun on Thursdays.
Look forward to it, man. Thank you so much.
Andrew Whitworth, Amazon Prime Video NFL analyst, and this Thursday night it'll be Buffalo against the Dolphins. Pre-game coverage starts at 7 Eastern. All right.